G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller and welcome back to another episode, if you want to call that, of only asking your horse yes questions. Okay, I've been on about this for a little while, and recently I've just posted a series of 4 videos, on how to get your horse to stop from a canter off both reins. And if you think, if you haven't watched that, I'd go back and watch it. But the basic premise of the whole thing was it's a building block thing, and you've got to make sure the horse knows the answer before you start asking the question. So we started out with the bend to a stop, making sure that was soft. Then we went to a soft back up and make sure they can engage themselves as they back up. So they bend their hocks, they're soft off your hand. Then we went to teaching them to stop off the walk, using the fence first, and eventually we can do it out off the fence. Then we went to teaching the stop at the trot, so the stop and back up at the trot, first using the fence and then out off the fence. And then eventually we had the canter, picking up on both reins, just slowly closing your fingers like that and having them stop from a canter, both with the fence and then off the fence. But the thing you may have noticed with all that is every time the horse slows down, he engages his hind end. And so it's not just about the stop for me, it's about the beginnings of teaching all the good stuff. So today I'm going to show you how the elusive half-halt works. A lot of people, I think, struggle with a half-halt because they think it's pulling and kicking at the same time, and it's not really. If you think about what we've been doing so far with these exercises, is teaching them. So there's a classical French dressage saying that says hand without leg, leg without hand. So what we've been doing so far, if you've been riding your horse around on a loose rein, this is leg without hand. And then when we want to do that stop that we've been working on, we close our fingers, there's hand without leg. Okay, now we're going to start to slowly add them together here. And probably the most simple way to teach a half halt, we've almost taught it already. This is the only ask yes questions. I already really know how to do it. But before a horse can do a half halt, he has to do a full halt, and a good full halt, because a half halt is just a horse preparing to halt. And so that's where that squat comes in. That's where those hind legs coming up underneath him comes in. And if your horse doesn't do that, you don't really get a half halt, because a half halt is a readjustment of their weight from their front to the back. I've already got that bit because of the way I've taught my horse to stop off both reins. So how you can go about teaching this half halt is you'll just trot around, and then using this 2-rein stop that we have, or downward transition that we've had before, we're going to go from a trot slowly down to a walk and then back up to a trot. Okay, and what you will do is slowly make that faster and faster, or closer together or shorter, whichever way you want to put it. So I'm trotting around here. I'm going to go from a trot to a walk to a trot. And that time I shortened it up then, so he almost didn't get to the walk, did he? Okay, and now I'll trot around here. I'll go from the trot to the walk to the trot. So I didn't even get, that's basically it right there. I didn't almost even get to the walk, and after a while you can close your fingers and add leg, and right then he just rocked his weight back, and then I rode him forward. So I'm riding him forward with his weight rocked back. So for me, I'm never riding around like what some people do, just pulling and kicking. This here always means sit behind, and this here always means go forward. And if you get to where both of these working really well, every time I close my fingers on the reins, like right now, if I just close my fingers, see, he starts to slow down and rock back. So I'm just going to close my fingers and add leg and ride him forward right there, and then open my fingers again. But every time I close my fingers, he's got to try to do that. And all I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm trotting around, I'm just going to close my fingers and add leg. And I'll release that. I'll do it again, and close my fingers and add leg. And so closing my fingers shifts his weight from front to back, and then I add leg and have him go forward. So he's sat and then he's pushing forward. But you've got to make sure when you do, like if I'm doing a half halt, which means I'm trotting around trying to re-engage my horse's body. Let's say I close my fingers right here. I'm not going to, because he will sit, but let's say I close my fingers here and he doesn't sit. I'm not going to then add leg and keep going forward, because all I've got is the forward. I don't have the redistribution of the weight. So if I was to close my fingers and he didn't slow down, I would go all the way back to the full hold. Get his weight back on his hind end again like that, then go forward, and then I might have to repeat it again. But basically when I close my fingers, as I close them, right there, whoop, see what happened? As I close them, I should feel that comeback. If I don't feel that first, so if you think about the half halt, it's two parts. It is this part followed by this part, but all at the same time. So when I close my fingers right there, I'm going to judge, do I need to get more sit, more comeback, or did he just come back and can I add leg to go forward? And so for the most part, when you get them trained well, like you're just trotting around, close your fingers, add leg. Open my fingers, close my fingers, add leg. Open my fingers a bit, close my fingers, add leg. And that's basically all, you know, your half halt is. And then you can really start to use that good slow down or that sit to start to work on collection. But it's a process. But the big thing I want you to get is you're not just riding around pulling on the head and kicking with your legs. You've got to get this response good, and not just the slow down off your hands, but they've got to, for me, they've got to sit, okay? And like I said, in those 4 previous videos I showed you how to use that step-by-step process to teach that sit.